Pat's Pizza and Bistro, 1426 West Broad Street, Bethlehem, PA. One of my favorite places to go in the Valley, and they came on as a sponsor. Yanni's been on the podcast before. He's had me up there from tastings. I've had everything from the chicken fingers, which are made from scratch, all the way up to the brand new pasta flights. The pasta flights are trending. They are flying off the shelves. It's insane that they can even keep up. I met the chef over there. Legit, no joke stuff going on. They use clean ingredients, real food, fresh food. It is family owned, family operated. It is very fast and furious. If you go to their online website, it is right here. You can get all this information. You can order there. You can place pickup orders. You can have delivery on certain days, and the hours of operation are on there as well. Please go check them out. I am not just saying this. They are a legit force to be reckoned with in the Valley. That's Pat's Pizza and Bistro, 1426 West Broad Street, Bethlehem, PA. Finishers headquarters at this time. FinishersMMA.com. They are running the East Coast. Running it. They have their jiu-jitsu classes, MMA classes, boxing classes, kickboxing, private jiu-jitsu. The facility is enormous. They have the gym in the back. They got fitness training going on there, weight training, conditioning. Everything that you need is in one spot. They are running the tournaments there. Their kids' classes have grown. If you need anything with mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu, and you want real deal, talking real deal, you want that, go there. There's no nonsense over there. None. It's very serious, like this promo. Very serious. Finishers. Headquarters. FinishersMMA.com. Check them out. Luke Delmeyer knives, handcrafted, handmade knives. I use mine every time we go to the pop-ups, and it is ridiculous. It is just something special. There's something different. It's handcrafted. It's handmade. Luke has grown since we started the show to now, where he is pumping out knives and classes. I want to push his classes. If you go to lukedelmeyer.com, it has all the information for the classes, and you get to take a 2-day course, and you go over everything from safety on how to use it. You're selecting the knife handles out, and you're really from top to bottom getting to go through the whole experience. Where else can you find that in the Valley? Luke is a very special person to the show. He's really cool. We've done projects together. We have apparel we're doing together. I really want you to go check it out. If you're interested in handcrafted stuff, working class stuff, blue collar stuff, like this is the area you need to go to. But it's lukedelmeyer.com. Luke Delmeyer, handcrafted knives. Sign up for those classes, those courses. Go check that out. It's really cool. It's a 2-day event, and you get to experience making your own knife, and then you take your knife home with you. And you're going to take home a little bit more than that. So check out Luke Delmeyer, friend of the show. Always awesome watching him grow. LukeDelmeyer.com. MindleafCBD.com. Mindleaf. Easton Zone, Mindleaf CBD. I didn't know a lot about CBD till they became a sponsor and they started coming on the show a lot. And Liz is huge for, I learn something every time she comes on. They are over in College Hill in Easton. You can check out all their information on mindleafcbd.com. I believe you can order there, but go experience the store. Liz's mom works over there. Liz keeps bringing in products such as the honey flights. They have peanut butter, the infused pretzels. My favorite thing is the tinctures to go to sleep. I have problems sleeping, and these things put me out, and I have a little bit of lucid dreams riding a unicorn, and then I wake up back to normal, and then I get excited to do that again. So my big thing I use with them is the tinctures and the balm. The balm is another one. I use it for aches and pains on my knees, and my old man uses it for his arthritis. Mindleaf CBD. They are over in Easton on College Hill. Please go check the store out. Really cool space, and like I said, Liz's mom's over there, and they will help you with everything. It's awesome that they're super local, and I stand behind their CBD and everything that they got coming out of there. That's Mindleaf CBD, mindleafcbd.com. We're just gonna get into it. Never Again Radio episode. I don't even know what it is at this point. What's up, man? How are you?
Good, man. Can't complain. I'm doing well.
Thank you for driving here. I always appreciate when people drive here, but you went from Allentown to Lehighton, then back to Nazareth.
Yes,
so
sir.
you passed here twice. I don't even know how I stumbled upon you. I don't know if somebody shared your art or somehow I started following you, and then I was like, this is really dope shit. We talked a little bit before when you got here, you were into food and stuff, but like, where did you get into art and how did you start even doing the projects that you're kind of doing right now?
So I'll just go way back, and I've been drawing, painting, doing all types of stuff since I was probably 10, 11, 12 years old. My parents had these Siamese cats, and I would always draw them, always. And it was something that I figured out that I was pretty good at, like doing still lifes and whatnot. And just kept going more and more and more. And, you know, middle school had art classes, high school had art classes, and I just kept excelling and doing my thing and fine-tuning my craft. So far as where I'm at now, actually I hit a period where I didn't touch a paintbrush or a pencil for like 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, did you do it through high school and kept going through high school? And did you think about going to art school for college or anything?
I did. I went to an art institute for like 2 or 3 weeks, but it was
like it?
Hated it. Hated it. I'm a fine artist, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like to throw paint, splatter, and this was like graphic design, computer stuff, and it wasn't for me. So
how long ago was that? Because I mean, back in, I remember when I was looking to get into art and stuff, I was even trying to get into video game design.
Yeah.
And like, there wasn't avenues for that shit back then. There was like, they were like kind of making a course up through like Allentown Business School, and then it was never like like you could find different style art classes or like take what are they, the online things where you like watch your, like you can do like the music producer things. Like that's available now. Back then they didn't have that shit.
So this was like 2005, right after high school. It was a little institute, Antonelli Art Institute it was called. It was photography, graphic design, and I didn't really know what the hell I wanted to do, you know, what school I really wanted to go to, and this was like, you know, the fast track. So
you into photography at all?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I dabble a little bit. So once I did that, I backed out of there, like I said, 2 to 3 weeks, and just kind of like did my own thing for a couple years. And then in 2010, I met my soon-to-be wife. Well, at that time, she was my girlfriend, whatever, you know. And she was like, oh my God, going through my sketchbook, all this stuff. She's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You are extremely talented. You need to be doing this, you know?
Yeah.
And it was like one of the first times I did a painting since 2005. So that was 2005, 2010, no art, started doing it again. And I went back to, I actually went to Northampton Community College and started doing, you know, some art stuff there and drawing
How was their
classes.
art stuff?
It was
I know they're cooking
really good,
program.
actually, man.
There's like a couple programs they have that are really good.
It was neat. It was over at the Fowler Center there on the south side, and I really liked it. You know, we were up on like the 7th floor. You know, you got to look out these big windows, and the drawing classes were just real and legit, and it was a good group of people, and it really just got me back into it.
Yeah.
And, just kept going forward from there. So, and just been doing this crazy stuff that I do and splashing stuff, and you know, I like to do a lot of back paintings first. And then I tend to see stuff within the paint, and that's when I go forward. And I don't know how to explain it, man. I just see crazy shit in my paint, and I start.
Is that
going
how it's
with
always
it.
been since when you were doing the cat stuff?
Yeah, kind of. I don't like to be controlled, so to speak. I just like to have that free flow ability, you know, and just go for it. And if I see something cool that, like, actually, if I'm at work, we were talking about how I work in construction, on our trench boxes and our shoring, sometimes I see images, and I'll take a snapshot with my phone, I'll come home and lay it down on the canvas and start drawing and going forward from there. So
do you picture a lot of stuff in your head, or like kind of like when I get into like laying out video ideas, or even like how like I kind of tend to do like the podcast, it's very free flowing. I don't have a list of questions. I'll call the person beforehand, and then I kind of just get a rhythm of how I want the show to go, and then I'll just kind of let it be its own. And I kind of learned that, I guess, would be when I first started getting tattooed, and the first tattoo artist, John Bicknell, he was very nice with me, but I would too overly tell him what to do, and then he kind of like taught me, or like was just in a nice way, was just kind of like let the artist do what they want to do. And then the more I would do that over the years with tattooing, with being tattooed, I would let them do what they want to do, and then it would be this like really cool collaboration of what I wanted and what he wanted, and we kind of met in the middle of this cool thing. So like that's kind of what I was getting to, is like, do you picture kind of like, cool, like it would be cool to do like a skull and then go home and kind of have your background, let it be its own thing, but then there's a skull in the middle?
Yeah, definitely. Like I've even like I'll be sleeping and I'll wake up and I'm like, man, like I just thought of something crazy, and I have to go downstairs and I start sketching out on my canvas. Yeah, like it's wild how it pops in my head sometimes. Like I'll just have these vivid images and I got to get it down.
I feel like the more you answer that when it happens, the more you start being self-aware of it happening, and then it happens more often.
Yes.
And then it just starts being like where you trust the idea of creating, and
it's
then
that flow state, man.
Yeah, and then you get
flow state.
Then you can kind of just create on your own.
Yeah, it's definitely that flow state. Like I've been, like I said, I'll wake up. I don't care if it's 2, 3 in the morning. I'll go down and I'll just go.
Yeah.
Until I'm just dead tired. And sometimes I'm afraid to step away because I don't want to lose that flow state.
Yeah.
I almost am afraid to come back to it because I don't think it'll be the same.
Yeah, it's hard to line up. Like editing's kind of similar like that, where if I get into an edit and I start really getting into like a creative edit where like, I love doing a lot of creating the music. Like, I don't know how you are, but how I am is like if I'm driving around and like I know that I want to make a reel with a specific song, or if like I'm stuck on a food idea or anything, I'll just get into a song, and sometimes I'll put that song on repeat, and then like once it kind of lines up to the way I'm thinking in the music, it kind of like, I guess what you're saying is the flow state, where like I'll kind of be parallel to it, and then I can completely envision that. But I've been doing that for so long, now I get like really excited because I know I can make it happen. So like now what's cool is being able to like further down the road is now being able to like take an idea and be like, I should do this, 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 and then you have the resources to complete it, and then you kind of complete the task. But yeah, if you walk away from that, it's really harder. Sometimes I'll be on an idea and I won't know, I'll pull off of it because I'll get distracted, or I'll get a phone call, or like real life pulls me back into like what's really going on, and then I won't want to go back to the project because it's not the same moment.
Yeah, there's been times where I've started a painting and man, I've let it sit there for 3 months, sometimes a year.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, and then I'll finally build up the confidence to go back to it because I'm not, I'm like, I got to finish that. It's something really cool. It's halfway done. We can go and do better. So it's just coaching myself to get to that point.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's weird. It is.
I was telling Harvey before you came to the studio when we were in the lobby, is like I'm dropping a new t-shirt next month, and then when I do t-shirts now, because I don't have time to do t-shirts, I want to put like a commercial behind them. So when I put the commercial behind it, it was an idea that we took, or a friend of mine who makes knives, and I pulled the resources and we completely got this commercial shot, and then it was done, and then I started editing it, and then a couple people wanted changes to be made, and it literally sat for over a year.
Yeah.
Because it's like I would get overwhelmed with the idea of finishing it, and then I would be overwhelmed with the idea of like getting it back on track to where I wanted it, and then it's like, then it was almost like today I was like, look, dude, you got a deadline now, and like you have to get this shit done, and you need to finish this idea that you thought. And it's so far down the rabbit hole now where it's like, I can't even tell you if I like it or not anymore, because it was so much, it's so washed out that like I can't even see the project. But then I sent it to a couple people today and they're like, yo, it's fucking awesome. And like, it's so overly produced that I probably could have left it alone and it would have done what it wanted to do. Because like I said to a couple people, I'm like, it needs tweaks. I don't really like it. And they're just like, dude, what are you, crazy? But like to finish that today, it was like, and it was only an hour, but I literally had to sit here and I was like listening to the audio clips to see if they matched up. And I like was closing my eyes and I was like, okay, no. And it was like, you know what I mean? It's like, then I finished the work and I was like, finally, it's fucking done.
Right, man.
And then like I texted my buddy Matt and I sent it to him and he goes, it's done. It's done. We don't need to go back anymore.
Honestly, man, that's some of my biggest problem too, is just learning to walk away.
Yeah.
It'll be at a state where it's perfect, but I don't think it is. And then I go in and then I make a mistake and I'm like, shit, I shouldn't have done that. So I've actually invited my wife into the studio now to give me some critiques. And I'm like, what do you think? And she goes, that's it. You're done.
Yeah. Because even when I was like messing with the audio today, I'm like, well, if nobody likes this and then I have to now try and figure out where the audio was originally laid, I didn't save where the audio was laid. So like I was just kind of free flowingly moving it where I'm just doing it all by listening listening and visual.
Yeah.
It's not like anything else. So I'm like, all right, well, there should be that much of a break. And I'm like, okay. And I'm just kind of like freestyling doing it, but at the same time I'm like, fuck, you're not paying attention to anything. But it's like that, I don't do it to pay attention. I don't do it to have like the uniform, you know, science down to it. It's my version of, I was never artistically been able to draw. My father drew. There's like a ton of art in the family. I just was the one who always just kind of like saw things differently. Even like putting Legos together.
Yes.
Like my brother would be like, here's the directions, here it is.
No.
And I'd be like, here's my round house that doesn't have enough blocks and it's just a piece of shit. And then I would get mad because it wasn't what was in my head. And it took years to develop me being able to create, and then now that's all I want to do. I'm obsessed with it. I don't care about money. I don't care about anything else. It's either creating a podcast, it's either creating, you know, a video, it's either creating t-shirts, it's either creating a tattoo. Like I'm just obsessed. And then like I didn't even realize it till probably last year where I was like, you're just obsessed with creating and you have to just keep constantly creating. Man. And when I don't do that, I get super moody and I get depressed and like I don't have ways to get that out of me.
Honestly, man, I totally feel your pain because, like, you know, doing my 9-to-5 job, it's slowly and quickly, I should say, not slowly, eating my soul away. Like, I wish I had a studio. I wish I had a place where I was doing my craft every day of my life.
Where do you work out of?
Walnutport is where our company is. But we work down here, Lehigh Valley, all over the place. So.
Yeah. And then where do you have your studio set up? Just a spare bedroom?
In my house, yeah. We have like a Florida room. It's like the nicest room in our house.
Yeah.
It's all white and I have drop cloth everywhere, but like it is what it is. You know, that's the space I have.
No, we started
I'm very
out
thankful for it.
We started out in my living room doing this. I mean, well, the clothing company was kind of something that I could like freely kind of do anywhere because it was online. I just had to always have somewhere to keep 200 t-shirts nobody was buying. So, you know, and then we did the first one in my living room and we literally just put the mics on like these stands and we had them over and we were just audio and we ran it to the computer in the room and the people on that lived on the floor thought I was selling drugs because people were constantly coming in and out.
No doubt.
And then it just got to a point where I was like, this is just going to be a total pain in the ass because everybody thinks that it's either too loud or everyone thinks that like there's something going on here. So like I needed to uproot. And then that's when and finding the right studio was impossible. It took probably 3 or 4 years and every studio was a nightmare until this one. It was nuts.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. Yeah, you know what's funny? Like I finally took the initiative to get out of just selling stuff on Facebook too. And
yeah, let's get into that. Like, how did you get enough confidence to start selling your art?
So,
because that's got to be hard to do.
It was, and it was always like word of mouth. You know, I would run into people who are like, "Oh, you're an artist. Well, hey, I need artwork for my house. Can you do this? Can you do that?" I was like, "Yeah, you know, I'll do that. That's fine." Actually, here's some other stuff that I've been working on, and why don't you check that out too? Because everyone always wants, oh, my dog, my cat, this and that. And
did you do stuff like that, or was it hard to do?
I did every now and then, but what you just said, it was always hard because it wasn't really what I wanted to do. And I would explain to people, but it's going to be my style. You know, I'm going to do your dog, but it might be a little weird looking, you know? So I'll try to perfect what your dog looks like a little bit, but that's what would kind of like freak me out a little bit because it was too much control. I didn't like that. So, but back to what we were saying, like I finally found these group of guys that opened up a restaurant in Jim Thorpe, Mike and Josh, and I contacted them because other places were putting up art and whatnot all over the place. So I reached out to them and I said, hey, have you guys ever thought about, you know, putting up on display the local artists in Jim Thorpe? And they're like, no, we never really thought about doing that. You know, we're just trying to get our restaurant up and running. But come on down. Let's check out your work. And I met Mike. And I laid my phone out in the bar. I was nervous as hell because I never really had to like sell myself before.
Yeah, it's weird when you have to do that for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was very awkward. And he looked at my stuff and he's like, wow, you're very eclectic. Yeah, you have a lot of unique stuff here. I'll take this, 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 and this. And I was like, whoa. All right, first of all.
You're like, $1 million.
Yeah, man. I was like, all right, listen, man. Like, I only have a couple of these right now. Other pieces have been sold and whatnot. But yeah, man, I'll get everything down here that is available right away. And it was actually probably about a year till I sold my first piece through there, and it was for quite a bit of money, and I think that was a definite confidence booster.
Yeah.
And I just kept, you know, pumping them out. more paintings,
it's tough
more paintings,
when
man.
it's tough when you first start, and then you don't have an audience, and then your friends and family are buying it, but until strangers start buying it, and then until you get the value of what you think it is, because I still struggle with even pricing food out. It's like, oh, well, it should be this, and then it's like
tough.
It's like, yeah, but this is where we make money, and that continues to keep this going. Not, hey, we did a favor and we're breaking even, and this ain't worth anyone's time. And then it's like, it's just tough. But I remember knocking on all the skate shop doors and being like, do you like my stuff? And they're like, yeah, this is crazy. And then getting a call, hey, we sold all the t-shirts, and then being like, what?
Yeah,
like,
it's phenomenal.
It's like you forget early on in the best parts of it, because then the rest of it kind of turns into like a job, and then you start having to do stuff that you don't like doing, which is setting your pricing correctly. But that's the only way that you're gonna be able to pay for a studio. That's the only way you pay for all the equipment. Like you have to put monetary value on it.
Yeah, I mean, to be quite honest, I don't really like to do commissions. But
it's got to be difficult for the style that you do, and unless somebody's like, do what you want, like that's what I would do.
And I'm coming to find that more people are into it than I ever thought they would be.
Yeah.
Like they are saying, hey, do this, but have at it. Like I had a guy recently say, hey, I'm redoing my bar. I want like 1930s like circus stuff. I said, perfect. I love that era. That's my shit. And he's like, but I'm gonna show you the area, and you're just going to paint, and I'll come back whenever you're done. And I was like, that's phenomenal, just to be able to have that ability to...
When did you start pulling jobs like that?
I didn't pull it yet, but it's going to happen soon.
Yeah.
But just recently through this restaurant in Jim Thorpe, of people, encountering these different clientele.
I kind of want to step it. So you started, what did you start first? Because social media is probably caught up by this point to where you can start selling online, and you have like Facebook and Etsy and all that stuff. So where did you start out with that? With just doing that?
Yeah, just doing that.
Yeah.
Just your basic Facebook. I don't really put myself out there on display too much through social media. I've been trying to like more or less... It's kind of a fault of mine. Just let it word of mouth spread the word.
Yeah,
so
it's the best way is word of mouth, but it's also hard to work a full-time job,
right? And that's the biggest.
Have a wife and a life outside of the art, and then it's really hard to find all the time to do everything.
Right.
I mean, Facebook and Instagram, it's like it's exhausting. It's exhausting to push it to a point where it actually works.
And I should better give her credit right now. My wife is kick-ass, man. I'll tell you what, she's got me TikTok now, Instagram. She's doing the reels.
TikTok, I still can't do. I'm like, I
don't know how to do any of it.
Yeah.
She's phenomenal.
Yeah.
She does it all for me. She'll take pictures, videos, edit things, and she's great.
Yeah. What's cool is having the ability to do all that. When I first started, a lot of that stuff wasn't around, and then it's kind of like social media caught up to my brain, and then I was like, cool, like, because I had projects where I was getting pulled for licensed music, but now I can redrop them because now you can put music with everything. And once they started allowing you to have music with everything, then it was like, oh, this is dope. Like doing the reels and all that stuff, you can do a lot of cool shit.
It is cool.
So where are you at with like, you built the business a little bit and you started getting commission pieces and you're kind of growing it, like when did it kind of take off that like you kind of built out your studio and your summer room and all that, and you're kind of like moving it forward?
I would say probably like within the past year, man. Like really, with the amount of sales that I've done this past year, have been the most of my entire life. So
that's crazy.
I mean, yeah, man, it's been awesome, and and it's funny too, because like we were talking about pricing before, I still have that struggle myself.
Yeah.
But it's at the point now where like, no, this is the value behind it,
Yeah.
So that getting over that hump has really kicked my ass in gear, and selling more paintings and getting what I have always wanted for them.
And when you start getting the money, I remember,
and it's not all about the money.
No, not at all. But I remember when we first started selling the cheeseburger, I was selling it for $5.
Yeah.
Then I broke down the cost, and I was like, bro, you cannot sell this for $5. So then when I started getting what I should be getting out of it, or what I think I should be being paid in the Lehigh Valley for that burger, for the amount of time and effort that goes into it, now I'm like, yeah, that's how much that burger is, because I have enough people that bought it at that price for me to be like, no, that's correct. It isn't like I'm saying, it's a $25 burger and I sold 5. Like enough people has told me the correct price on that burger is that. So like, it's weird. You got to like really take your lickings and like really just completely learn from error. Is like, it's just 100%. A lot of like how everything. When anybody ever asks me like, oh, you're just doing so much, you're doing all this, it's like, dude, it's rinse repeat. Like even this year, like I caught myself doing like some shit that I did last year, and I was like, yo, whoa, don't do that shit.
Yeah.
Don't do that shit. That's gonna be that's headaches, drama, nonsense. Tell the person you're sorry and you don't have the time, and stick to the shit you want to do. And like that's kind of like when I started moving things faster. When you started getting the sales and stuff in, what did that feel like?
I'll never forget the first time Mike, or I think it was Josh actually, one of the owners.
Yeah, because we kind of split that, so skipped over that. So like they wanted to put the art inside the restaurant, and then did you pick pieces or did you design pieces for the restaurant?
It was stuff that I had, existing pieces. You know, it was actually some of the ones that he picked out that I did still have that I didn't sell yet, and brought them up there. And actually, what was really cool about it was that it kind of set the stage for all the other local artists. I was one of the first to actually have work on display. And then I tell you what, man, you go in the restaurant now, the whole place is just covered in photography. I love when they do that. Covered in paintings, and it's been great for a lot of people in the area. So, you know, going forward with that, you know, just getting up there, getting the paintings out, and
did you start doing art shows as well out of there, or did you get into art shows at all?
I have not done that yet.
We should do one.
I know, man. That would be dope. That's the dream, man, to have my own show, really. Yeah. I would love to do that. Yeah. So. I
started working with probably one of the first artists that I brought on was the lady who did like the big graffiti freestyles type stuff up in the lobby, Pop Mart.
Okay.
And that was my kind of first look into people doing like the big shows and all that. But then when I was in my 20s, I used to always go to the tattoo shows because a couple of the tattoo shops would have like nights where they would have drinks and you can go in and they had all the art everywhere. Right. And that's kind of when I fell in love with art and buying it. And then tattoo conventions. Did you ever do any of the tattoo conventions yet?
No, I haven't done that either.
You got what's it called up there? Electric Cities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Woody's the man.
Yep.
You should try and get into that. But that's a cool one to do.
See, that's my problem, man. I need to get out there more. I got to get out there on the radar and start diving deeper into functions like that. I really do. And I kind of just been like laid back in my own little, I don't know, my own little world up there in Lehighton and Jim Thorpe. So I need to spread out of that. I need to venture out of that for sure.
There's stuff going. I mean, you could also be creating your own scene up there and getting people to come up towards you, man.
I'm trying to do that too, man. That's been the #1 ticket for right now. So
early on, you said like you got involved with food and restaurant and stuff. What was that like to run a bar as long as you did? 'Cause I'm sure you had to have taken parts of that business to kind of start structuring the art business that you're building.
It was crazy. It was long hours, man.
Yeah, man. Fist fights.
Yeah. Oh my God. We had this Irish guy up there named Seamus, man. He was a wild, wild dude, man. It's just mahogany you got here, man. He'd be going crazy. Yeah, he was a wild dude. But yeah, man, I just learned from that aspect, you know, that grind, just to keep going forward, and just it's nonstop. So.
Well, what was the bar?
Lizard Creek Tavern.
Yeah. Yep. What was the primary, like, was it shop beer bar or food?
Yeah. Wasn't like your hole in the wall, but like we were trying to do that kind of scene, but also upscale. Like my wife made a crazy like dessert martini menus, and like I said too, we were doing off the wall food and just trying to get that attraction to that area. So
were you cooking, or did you have other people cooking?
No, I was cooking. Yeah. I did have some help. So yeah, man, it was good. I was doing like giant, massive burgers, cheesesteaks. Yeah. I told you before the pickles wrapped in bacon that were deep fried. So actually, we were doing deep fried grilled cheese and fluffernutters and shit too, man. It was interesting. Do you like
the palette of creating with food, like you were mentioning Action Bronson and shit, and like that's kind of like when I remember cooking, and he came out and then he started just doing whatever he wanted to. And then it wasn't about just his food. And then like you were kind of seeing like he was an artist inside all these different things. And then he was like, that was the first time where I saw somebody like putting their creative side into food and then being like, nah, like this is cool. Like, and then I wasn't afraid to like make sandwiches and stuff. Were you kind of opening that valve and like really channeling like your artistic stuff into the food and all
absolutely. It definitely all stemmed from that for sure.
Yeah.
Man, the one thing I always wanted to do was like ravioli sandwiches. Like stuffed raviolis with all types of meats and stuff. You know, just pack on the carbs, man, and just load it up, you know? So.
The most I messed around with was we did short rib, and then
I love short rib.
We fucking we made homemade raviolis, and we put short rib and like ricotta cheese and I think smoked mozz, and then we made like stuffed raviolis that way, and then had vodka sauce with it. I love vodka sauce. Vodka sauce is like my favorite thing to like put on everything.
That's the ticket, man.
Yeah. Is there good food out that way? Like, do you like, what do you do out there?
Up in Lehighton and Jim Thorpe, like other than Jim Thorpe, like that's the main staples. But more or less, we travel down here to the valley if we want to get something good to eat. So yeah.
What's it like being that far away? Do you feel like it's hard?
I love it.
Well, it's got to be quiet, but like, do you find it's hard to get what you're doing going, or are you trying to carve your own thing out in Jim Thorpe? Like, where do you kind of see it going?
To be perfectly honest with you, I don't know. I'm just going with it, man. You know, so far it's been working out. You know, I've been having people that come into Jim Thorpe that come from all over the place. You know, I've had people from Philly, from New York buy my paintings. And, you know, I always ask them one thing, please spread the word. You know, I always give business cards with my paintings, and some of these people are on social media and they blast it all over the place. So
do you have people pick the art up?
Yeah. And so for right now, just kind of travel in that avenue and hope it goes further and further. So, I mean, I just living the dream as of right now, and trying to do the dream work balance thing, and, you know, trying to pay bills and do the right thing. And I have 2 little ones at home too, so got to keep working, but also keep grinding on the dream with the art. So
yeah, I mean, it's just you literally have to keep going on one end till it matches the other end. Then you have to get it to go over that end to its worth to walk away from the full-time job. It took me, I didn't know if I'd ever would be able to do it, and then when I actually did it, it was probably the scariest thing I ever did. I remember calling my friends and being like, what am I supposed to do today? But it was literally just from not stopping. It was just, you had to keep going. You can't stop pushing. And from the conversations we had, it doesn't sound like your brain ever shuts off on that creative.
Hell no.
So it's like, you know, it's either
it doesn't.
You're just going to be dicking around with stuff, or you're going to push it to a point to where you can walk away.
Honestly, man, the #1 dream my whole entire life is to either be in Philly, New York, doing my own thing in a studio or a gallery or whatever, and hopefully have a show one day. I've actually had these people, and, you know, I don't know how true it is, but they reached out to me on Instagram a couple of times, but you have to pay to play. You know, those studios and galleries in New York, and I try to stray away from that because I don't really trust it, you know.
Yeah, plus there's plenty of things that you could be doing in the Valley, let alone for free, that anybody would,
Banana Factory is, that's where I would like to get into. But, you know, sometimes it's about connections and the people you know. And as far as the art world goes, and even in the Lehigh Valley, I'm kind of separated from it, you know. I need to do more and get my name out there. Maybe, like you said, contests, art shows more often and stuff like that. But, you know, one day we'll get there.
I mean, well, they do have the Skindustry. I know that's like the Allentown one, and I mean, you could easily do prints at that.
Yeah.
There's the Electric City one, so it's just kind of finding the pockets and the circuits and staying on them not too long and just kind of getting the exposure, and then like, you know, kind of like I really liked the travel scene for a while. Do you travel at all and get it out there?
Try to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you like to do for that?
As far as getting the work out there?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, like, just go to like a flea market or something like that.
Yeah.
If we could do stuff like that, but haven't really thought about that too much, man, to be honest with you. Need to do that.
Do you want to reach out to other restaurants or anything to get in places?
Yeah, I would like to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that sounds like that was kind of like the first step into it kind of moving forward was the restaurant guy putting it up.
Yeah, the thing of it is like my style, and I try to do stuff that makes people think, stop, stand, you know, right there dead in their feet. Like, you know, what is that? Make them question it, you know. And so I kind of do some stuff that's like off the wall. So I get kind of leery of which places I could submit my work to. Like, I have a friend that owns the Apollo restaurant. I know her from high school. They rotate artwork in and out of there all the time, but I've almost been like, you know what, that's kind of like a fine dining type place. Not too fine dining, but like it's kind of laid back, so to speak, too. But to get my work in places like that, I just kind of like retract back from it because it's almost like I'm scared a little bit, you know?
Yeah. It's like minor self-sabotage.
Yeah, man, a little bit. Exactly.
I do that sometimes with
because I'm like that with my pricing sometimes too. And then my wife will step in and be like, "Hell no, man, jack that up another $300."
Yeah. I get like that with guests or even like trying to get people to sponsor the show. It's like you don't want to be told no, so you kind of make up a reason why it's no, and then you kind of like back off of it a little bit.
Right.
It's not easy to put yourself out there or to like sell custom anything. Do you get into t-shirts or apparel or anything?
I haven't, man. Just so that print I brought you today was like the first time I've really stepped into that world of print. So I think I'm gonna keep going forward with that though, because I've had a lot of good feedback.
No, I'm excited. I'm gonna open it up completely over here, but I'm gonna put it over there on that wall. We're doing like a comedy taping, and what's funny because I was like, what am I gonna put on that fucking wall? And I gotta fill it up because like there's gonna be people down here, and it's like until we move. So
that's cool.
I'm thinking about like just getting and this is like kind of cool stuff where I also learned like that I can kind of create a little bit with not being the artist, but like I want to like pull that out and then get like trim like you would put on like a ceiling or whatever, and then like trim that whole piece so it's like kind of framed out.
That's actually what you're supposed to do with that. You're supposed to box it out. So yeah, no.
But I just never thought about like I'm not gonna buy a frame for something that big. It'd be way too expensive.
Yeah, man, no way.
Yeah, and the same with that little thing behind you, that Keith B thing. That same thing. I just want to frame that out with trim.
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
That'd be
Paint it
cool.
something cool. I don't know. I like fucking around with stuff like that.
Speaking around of fucking around with shit, actually 2 weekends ago, we did this thing called Art and Found Day. And it was neat because you were supposed to take your art. Actually, it was like on a global scale. I found this lady through Instagram. And you're supposed to take your art, hide it in random places, you know, hashtag everything, and just art and found day. It was free art. So we did do that, and it was actually really cool, man, to see people message back with the artwork that they found. And,
yeah, I think
you know,
because
cool.
you were like putting it out, and then you had to take a picture of it.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you ever or saw the dude I had on here, Balloons?
No, I don't think so.
You two are like parallel the same person. I'm gonna link the two of you up. He's gonna do an art show. I'm looking to do an art show with him, and he's always pushing himself out there and doing all this art, but he's very similar on kind of how you are with creating and everything. I think it'd be a good fit, but I think he did that too, where he was like, I always see artists doing that, and there was a graffiti guy I was following in Easton that they'll like kind of just put on their social media like, yo, here it is, if you know where this is.
Here's the drop.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you like doing stuff like that?
I do. It actually really got me excited to do that, man.
Yeah.
Because it was just like the unknown of who's going to find it, you know?
Yeah.
Is it going to be some old person or some young kid, or like, you know, are they going to take care of it? Or
what do you do? Do you put like a
display?
card in it where they like contact you on social media so you know that they got it?
My wife wrapped them in like brown paper. We wrote everything on the cover. We put my art, you know, my personal information on the card there, my business card, so to speak. And yeah, we just hope for the best that people would hashtag us, tag us and everything, and post their stuff on their social media. And it did. It worked out. It was cool. It was really interesting. It was different, you know? Yeah,
I always like seeing people do stuff like that, because I know like a couple of like just skateboarders and stuff like that too will like be like, yo, here's a deck and trucks, and like, you know, different shops will do that. What's it been like for you to kind of step in from drawing the cats and, you know, like kind of coming into your own, and then getting to a point where last year you sold the most amount of artwork? Like, what's it feel like to be in this position you are now, where it's like people are buying your stuff, people are, you know, contacting you, you know, a restaurant, like, you know, sometimes when you get on a path, you know, you're on the correct path. What's it feel like for you to be on this path that you're on right now?
Exhilarating.
Yeah.
But scary, because it's like, I don't know, to go, you know, head first into it and kind of take that chance and that leap of faith and go all in. You know, kind of quit my job and do stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like, man, you got kids, you got a house to take care of, you got, you know, you need benefits, all that shit, you know. But it's like, at the same time, maybe I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to conform anymore. I want to just go in and do it, you know. But
it's interesting you bring that up. I was talking to somebody the other day about how for the longest time I always felt like what I was doing was wrong. Yeah. Because like what you're told when you grow up is you're supposed to get married, you're supposed to have kids, you're supposed to buy a house, you're supposed to do all these things, you're supposed to, I mean, when I grew up, you were supposed to go to college. That's not really a thing anymore because of money and whatnot. But it's like, you know, it was always odd breaking and not even knowing that I was breaking the mold of that. And then like now I'm at a point where, you know, when I first started, people would be like, hey, like, what do you do? It's like, all right, well, I cook at this deli, but then on the side, I got this clothing company. And they're like, oh, and then now, like, I was out to dinner with someone and they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, well, I run an apparel business and I run a podcast. And then sometimes it's odd to say that. And then I'm like, no, you fucking do. Like, it's, you know what I mean?
People
like,
make you feel uncomfortable about the shit that you want to do and the shit that excites you and that you're passionate about. Because, like, I remember when we had the bar, man, people would come and be like, all right, so what's your real fucking job? And I'm like, this fucking place is
the most work ever.
Fucking A, 70 hours a week and then some. But yeah, man, like, it's just crazy. Like, I don't know.
It's hard when you know, I've had, when I quit the post office, I had so many people tell me like, yo, that was like, here it is again, Mike quit a fucking job. I had a friend laugh at me, you know, and it's just like, you know, it's like, here you did it again. I knew you wouldn't stick that out. And I'm just like, I don't want to do this shit, man. And then everyone's like, well, what about the benefits? Well, the benefits don't come for another 10 fucking years. And I'll be, you know, I can't figure out what I want to do in 10 years. Like, if you actually sat down and tried to figure out what you wanted to do, instead of being distracted by that job that you have to punch into, punch out, and then you're so numb to it because you fucking hate it, that then you just turn shit off, and then now you're not paying attention to anything except for the weekend, and then...
Yeah, that's no way to live a life, man.
It's how I was living, and then I was just like, you know, it goes back to the Action Bronson stuff, where I'm like, I said to my one buddy, and there was another guy cooking at the time, I was like, why does he get to do this? And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, he gets to do whatever he wants. And I'm like, I don't understand why I can't do that. And they'd be like, oh, whatever. And then I'd be like, no, but like, why am I not allowed to do that? And then I was like, well, what's holding you back? Well, I'm holding myself back by thinking that that's what I have to do, is I have to work at this kitchen. Which I'm so glad I'm not working there. Like I said, this is the least amount of money I've ever made, and I've never been happier. And it's like now I'm like moving on to bigger and better things. But it was like that risk that I took of leaving the post office and that security and that insurance and every single thing. Everybody told me it's a walk in the park as soon as you retire, dude. Everyone there wanted to kill themselves. Yeah, everyone. No one enjoyed that job.
One of my favorite fucking quotes ever is from fucking the Terminator, man. No fate but what we make, and it's so fucking true. We make our own fate, and I need to believe in that more. I really need to do that myself, man, and just get away from the shit and just take that leap of faith and go. You know,
and it's not easy to do, and it's you know, like I said, I'm sitting here saying it because I did it, but I only emphasize it because I should have done it sooner. Right. And then it's like, you know, I did have a job for forever. You know, I had a million jobs that I hated, and I don't hate what I do anymore. Yes, there's a ton of work, and yeah, I have my ups and downs, and there's all kinds of traps with, like, you know, creative ruts and like, you know, hitting a brick wall when creating, or like being burned out from creating. It's like anywhere you look in life, there's always the downs, and then there's always the ups, but my ups are way fucking up, and the more I go up, the harder it is to come down. Working at the post office, there was no up,
and it's never an up. It's so cool that you say that. Like, so like recently within this past year, and I think part of the reason that I have been selling the most is because I finally found my style and my flow, and it's been wonderful. Like, so many years I need to do this or mimic that, and nah, man, just fucking go. Like, I've even brought my son in now with me, and we'll splatter paint on the background, you know, a fresh canvas. I'll let him go at it with me, and then I'll even let him scribble some stuff, and it's inspiration, man, and it's part of that flow of just let go. Stop controlling everything. Yeah. Just do it, you know?
It really is. I mean, this show didn't really, in the beginning, it's like I just mimicked Rogan because that was the show that I thought had the best production. So it's like, of course you mimic something in the beginning because everything's mimicked, because there's not anything that's actually, like, you start any kind of podcast, all right, well, what's a podcast? It's a radio show or a TV show. That goes back years to what you're doing, the Johnny Carson even. So, like, you know, there's a basic format of it, but then when I kind of just did so many of them, and just that's another thing that I always want to push, is like the repetition of doing fucking, we are over probably 2,000 shows at this point, if not more. We changed the count on it because when we got here, I was like, okay, this is the show we wanted. So we're starting at 1 when we went to video, but we're on 200 just video. And then it's just like, we were well over 1,000 with audio. And then it's like, we did so many different shows, and like, you know, I produce other people's podcasts, and it's like, all that repetition is what's making it what it is now. Like, people are like, wow, this is really professional. You should listen to episode 1. It was not. But it was like, I just kept inching to like where I'm going now is like, I'm making a fucking TV studio. Like, you know what I mean? But it's
Absolutely,
like,
man.
that's what I wanted. And you can ask anyone who was involved early on that I was like, we should be doing this. We should be doing full video. Well, how do we get to full video? All right, well, we don't have any money. Fuck. Well, how are we going to generate money?
Somewhere.
Well, now you got to start generating money because now it's a business. But now I got to be a business person and I got to fucking do the talk show thing. And then that's a thin line. But it's still way better than me wanting to blow my fucking brains out delivering mail to people.
Fucking A.
Dude, it's a nightmare. And there's so many people that just eat those jobs all day long. And they don't look in anything else other than I got 10 more years and I can retire. What? You can't figure out how to do something you love to do in 10 years? That's such a long time.
That's like, I have these supervisors, and I won't say where I work or who I'm talking about, but like, you got to work Saturday. You got to work Saturdays. Man, motherfuck that shit. Like, I already worked Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
10, 11-hour days. And it's like, I have other things that I'm passionate about other than this fucking place. Like, and I need to do them or I'm going to go crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like I said to you when I first got here, like, I'm starting to find that, like, going to work every day and doing that shit, it's like eating my soul away.
Absolutely.
But that's why I keep painting more and more and more to keep that fire lit and keep going, man, you know?
And then if you push it to a point where you can make the money you make on it, like, that's how I tell people to look at shit. All right, well, how much money would you make on a Saturday? All right, well, can you make that much selling art on a Saturday? So it's like, okay, well, if you can match that, all right, cool, I don't got to go in Saturday.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, no,
definitely.
I just made the same money. It's like, you know, it's like I look at shit now where it's like, all right, well, I can do this, and if I sell this many T-shirts, that's how much money I used to make when I worked 7 days, when I worked 5 days a week, and I'm like, cool, well, that's not really a lot of money because I didn't get paid a lot to do these other jobs. So it's like, all right, well, like right now, if I'm getting paid the same amount of money I was at the post office, what's the difference?
Right.
And then it's like, if you just, like, I had this long conversation with my friend who's starting a business, and I was like, yo, like, I'm not trying to get rich. If I'm rich, it's because I kept working because I'm obsessed with my work. I'm not trying to find that out. What I'm trying to find out is how I can make the same money my brother does who has a degree in engineering and do this. And like, that's cool.
No doubt.
That's way more money than I have right now. So I'm like, all right, well, if I'm going to sit here and like, so, okay, let's say I made $1,000 a week at the post office. And then like, all right, well, that's $4,000 a month. All right, well, okay, well, if I can sell T-shirts, I can sell this and I can do a pop-up and I can make $4,000. What is the difference if I make $4,000 for the post office or if I make $4,000 doing 4 things that I love?
Where you're happy and you're loving life, or when you're a drone.
Yeah.
Nah, man, that's easy. It's easy. I hear you, man.
It's I don't know. I just try and push it all the time. And, you know, when people try and start new businesses, I'm like, yo, don't try and get rich. Try and make the money. Like my friend waitresses, and like, you make a lot of money waitressing. I was like, cool. Why don't you just try and make as much money as you can waitressing doing this? And then she just kind of paused, and I'm like, that's all you need to do. That's all you need to do is make the same amount of money. And if you make the same amount of money, then you're doing what you love and you're making the same amount of money.
Yeah.
It's like there's going to be
man.
tenfold coming after that because now your time is not going to be constricted. And now you like when I never knew what the like, because I know where you're at and I know what it feels like to be where you're at. And it's not easy, and it's probably not easy to have kids and all that other stuff. But like, I never knew what my finish line was. And when I crossed that finish line, I didn't realize it was freedom. It's freedom.
Yes.
My freedom to do this at 6 o'clock at night. I would still. It would be dinner rush right now, and it'd be 8 o'clock before I got out. I'd be exhausted. I'd smell like grease, and I'd come home, shower,
I know that smell.
complain to my mom, and then go to bed. And then it's just like, and then get up early and do it again. And it's like now it's like I could do whatever I want after this. It's like I could stay up till 4 in the morning and sleep in, but then like I slept in today because I wanted to sleep. I stopped setting an alarm clock. I'm like, who the fuck's in charge of this shit? But my day's not the same as everyone else's. I'm getting up later, so now I'm working later. But I work when my lights are on, it's like 6, 7 o'clock at night. So I'll put music on down here and I'll be like, all right, cool. Like, you know, let's go over to the dry erase board. Like, let's make a t-shirt. Like, that's what I get into down here. But like, that's just how it is for right now. I might get back onto a different schedule once the weather breaks. But like, sometimes there's things that I do where I don't want to be constrained by shit. Like, why am I setting a fucking alarm clock? Why are you putting pressure on yourself to do all this shit that you know you're going to do anyways without money? If I was working a full-time job, I'd still be doing this. I did did this for 5 years and worked a full-time job. So it's like sometimes I look at these restraints and more things that are like set up. Oh yeah, do this, do that. Why do I got to do any of that shit? I don't have anything holding me back. So I'm going to live that way until I run into a woman who wants me to do things differently. But until then, I just kind of live the way I want to. And then that outweighed money. That outweighed anything in my head on what I thought this should be. And then that's kind of like where I settled down in now, and I'm like, you're free. And then it's like, cool. But now I'm opening a restaurant. You know that freedom's going right out the window. But guess what my goal is? 2 years, you can be free.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now
man.
It's not 2 years, let's make $1 million. All right, but you got 2 years. Put in 2 years of work, man.
Grind a little bit.
Grind for 2 years, do all this shit, then pay somebody to do your job, and then you're free again, but now you have a passive income. And then I'm like,
that's
okay.
the ticket, man.
Okay. And then I'm like, yeah, I don't give it. I want to be able to just do shit. I just want to be able to do shit, have a little bit of money so I can do shit, and then that's it.
That's how I want to be too, man.
I don't want too much money. You got too much money. I've seen like this podcast level up, and then you know, people come out of the woodwork. They just want shit from you. And then people trying to pretend to be your friend and trying to do this and that. And then it's just like, you always hear about that shit. And then when I'm in the middle of it, I'm like running it by my actual friends. And I'm like, well, that's fucked up. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm cool with just like hitting the top of the underground. Cool.
Just get your nose above the water a little bit, man.
Yeah.
It was actually cool how I kind of lined up with you. I think her name was Mariel Breadbenner or something like that. She's selling jewelry up in Jim Thorpe, and she actually saw all my artwork up in Mist up in Jim Thorpe, and she put on blast on this Facebook page for Jim Thorpe, and she's like, who is this artist? Need to find him. And she's been like a saint, man, because she was like, your stuff is amazing. And then she's like, why do you only have 300 followers? I was like, I don't know.
What's her business?
She makes custom handmade jewelry.
Is it That's Not Punk or something?
Yes.
All right, full circle.
That's it.
Yeah, she's coming on the podcast. She just recently had a baby.
She's super cool, man.
She's really cool.
Yeah, and just met her on Messenger, you know, like she was.
That's who it was. That's who shared it, man. And I was just like,
and thank God for that, because when you messaged me and you're like, hey, let's do a podcast, I was like, shit, I never did that before, man. All right, let's do it. Screw it.
Yeah.
There's a time for everything, and it's a time for change and to grow and to get my stuff out there. So
no, you have really cool stuff. I just started going through it, and then the same thing. I was like, he's only got 300 followers. I'm like, this stuff's fucking rad. And then I was just like, the only reason I look at the followers is because can I get a hold of you?
Right.
And I've gotten a hold of people who have 200,000 followers. It's a lot harder, but then the lower the number is, the way easier. So I'll look at shit and be like, I want to talk to him because his art's cool. Thank God I don't have to talk to somebody to get to him. Or like today I hit up, some girl, Union and Finch tagged me in something, and this girl tagged me, and her name's like Tomato Girl. And I go on her page, and it's just her obsessed with growing tomatoes. And I'm like,
shit. That's cool.
I hit her up, was like, yo, you want to talk about tomatoes?
Tomatoes.
But like, I love just finding unique, cool people doing shit. The numbers, I don't pay attention to my own numbers, let alone anybody else's. So like, I don't know.
To me, there was some
really rad stuff that you had on your page. Like, walk us through some of your pieces, like that kind of like took the longest, or like the ones that stood out the most, that kind of brought the most attention.
So there's this one. It was so it started with, it was a diptych, which is a 2-piece canvas, and I started with some splashing, and I actually would press the canvas together, pull them apart to get like a mirror image and whatnot, and it just was not going for me, man. I could not, for the life of me, get it in the right direction.
And that's got to be hard, because you probably won't give up on doing that.
No, never. And I'm telling you, man, it was like layer after layer of just shit. And then I just started like taking painter's tape and just segment painting and doing things. And I was like, man, this is awesome. Put some good music on, kept flowing.
What do you listen to?
Everything.
Do you sweat? Yeah, same here.
Man.
Same here.
My art playlist that I play every time.
Do you do Spotify?
I do.
Yeah.
But it's just like more or less an eclectic bunch of music that it could be jazz, it could be reggae, it could be country, it could be whatever. And that actually helps me with my painting too.
Absolutely.
Man.
I'll get
totally
up in the morning.
My flow.
What is it on Spotify? It's weekly playlist or weekly mix.
Yes.
And then it's like there's so much good music each week. I'm like, oh, what's new? And then you save all the music. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm just obsessed with music.
No, you're good, man. I am too.
I am too.
Ever since I was a kid. But anyway, so like I said, that painting, I struggled with the background painting, and then I got it to a good point where I was liking what I had down. So I started dripping and doing all this crazy shit, and I was like, man, I see a skull, I see some vertebrae, I see some this, and I ended up doing this crazy like skull skeleton hands with a.
Is it on your Insta?
It is with a saxophone. And then there was like the crown and all types of shit. But anyways, so the time period in which this painting took was probably like, man, a good month, if not longer. And I took it down the mist, and I was so confident that this one would sell. Well, it took like a whole year. I was like, someone's gonna love this one, you know.
I'm trying to pull up.
But it was actually the first piece that I ever sold that I made really awesome money, and it just kind of was like, oh man, let's go, let's keep going.
How far down is it on here? Is it the saxophone one?
No, that's one of the newer ones. It's probably down pretty far, actually.
It's always good radio while 2 people.
Yeah, both on our phones.
After we get to this one, I want to walk through the Doc Holliday one.
Okay, that was actually a Christmas present for my father-in-law.
It's dope. My friend JM, he's over at 10th Planet, Bethlehem Finishers. He loves Doc Holliday and all that shit.
I got 2 guns, one for each of ya.
That movie's so fucking good.
It's the best, man. Val Kilmer.
I'll find it and post it. No, that one's awesome. Do you do a lot of stuff like that with the
instruments and stuff, or
with the Doc Holliday thing where you kind of like do a picture?
I just started that actually during like the lockdown when we were home for pandemic lockdown and all that bullshit. I started getting into that. I followed this one artist on Instagram. His name is Timmy Sneaks, and he would take like pictures of Leo DiCaprio from Wolf of Wall Street, and then have all these crazy cartoon characters.
Shit like that. Yeah.
So I started diving into that, man, and you know, I knew my father-in-law loved Doc Holliday. Actually, his girlfriend asked me to kind of do something for him, and I was like, I know what to do. I got it. I've been thinking about this for a long time
when
too.
You know what you want to do for somebody because you know how much they like something.
Yep. And his jaw just dropped to the floor when he saw it. So yeah, I kind of like doing that. I do all types of stuff, man.
Yeah. I mean, do you go through like cycles where you get tired of doing one thing and then move on to the next, or you kind of just flow with the way it's gonna go?
I don't know. I not really know. Just kind of always flow. You know, I'll go. I always use acrylics. Always use oil, watercolors, ink, markers, whatever you name it. I use it, man. Spray paint. I've even used spackling.
You get into graffiti at all?
Not really. No.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, I've even used like spackling for texture in the background paintings and stuff like that. So
that's cool.
Yeah, man. Trowels, all types of shit. So
when you sold that piece that you like, what was it? The one you said with the saxophone and all that?
Yes, the saxophone.
How long did that one take for you to make?
It was like about a month, if not a little bit longer.
Yeah. Man, and that's just kind of paying attention to it every day, or just kind of come and go with it?
Yes. Yes.
And then you had it up at the restaurant, and then it was up for a year?
It was up for a year, man. Yeah. And then when that one sold, man, because it was a hefty price tag on that one, I was like, oh my God, this is finally fucking happening for me. Like, people love my shit. Like, they loving it. So it was cool, man. It was really
That's got to feel... That's got to feel crazy to get a call that it got sold, and then for the price that you want, and then realizing that you can sell art at that price. Now it's just being heard and getting seen and putting yourself out there, which isn't easy to do on top of being an artist. You know, it's not like you have somebody like delegating your art into the city or anything like that. I always thought that that was cool, the way that like in the city where they'll like take the graffiti artist and then like have a big showing and like, you know what I mean, sell the person's collection, and they can make what most would make in a year in like 2 hours. That stuff's cool. I luckily got to be around some pretty famous graffiti artists in New York, and kind of heard some stories about being picked up. The one guy got like picked up to do like the window for like Louis Vuitton and shit like that. Cool you know what I mean? It's cool when you see people getting in lanes like that.
I think I'm getting there, because the guys from Mist, some of the guys from Mist were telling me about how they want to do a big mural now on the side of the building. Yeah. And they're like, we're going to definitely keep you in mind. And actually, they're going to be opening up another location here in Bethlehem, downtown Bethlehem, kind of by like the parking deck Near Ripper's Pub, actually. That's where it's going to be. Rippers, man. Yeah, that's where it's going to be.
Awesome place
Steak
to black
and Steel,
out.
it's going to be called. Mike and Josh, I'm plugging you guys, by the way. So I had talks with the one manager that's going to be taking over that joint about doing steel stacks with Godzilla with chopsticks on like mural on the wall and stuff. And I was like, man, that would be excellent. That's where I want to go to next. You know, I just want to keep opening up more and more doors to get my artwork everywhere. So.
Yeah, I mean, I have some doors that I can open for you just for like, I know the guys over at the jiu-jitsu school, like they have giant walls, like big fucking walls in there. And, Zach was talking to me about getting somebody to do a corner piece for a video that he's doing. So I reached out to a friend of mine who did a lot of my t-shirt design and like the early stuff for Never Again, and like he wants to do a corner piece, but there's so many walls. I know Zach will definitely want to get something done, and I can show him some of your artwork, and I know JM liked that one piece. So yeah, I mean, I just, it's a no-brainer for you to kind of start stepping into your own. I would definitely do an art show with you, even if you wanted to only do a couple pieces. I've been dying to do an art show down here. We would even be able to do it before I left, but like I told Balloons, like I was like, yo, I have all this open space now, so it's like you could literally clear that wall, this wall, hang them all up, put price tags on them, and then like, you know, we could like set up a bar and like kind of a lounge area. I can do food and then like just have
dude, that would be
playing.
awesome.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
Yeah, I'll 100% do it.
And I've been grinding lately, man. I have like stacks of canvas at the house.
Yeah. So even if it's just you want to do a couple pieces and then sell prints, or the one guy I had on here, Scott, who did that one, like he goes to like Comic-Con and all that shit. And like he'll just sell prints. Like there's a ton of different avenues. It's just, you know, it's leaving the weekends open, which you're looking to do. Where do you want to see all this stuff going? Like where do you want it to go from here?
I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that question, man. I mean, honestly, I'll tell you one thing. I did have like a vision.
Well, that's kind of what I was gonna follow it up with when you wanted to go where you were going. Like, where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself legitimately just selling art?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
I do.
That's huge. That's the itch.
Honestly, man, I had a vision. Like it came to me. This is like an actual vision. Like God saw me and came to my dreams. You know, it was like in my 40s. I'm 34 now. Like I make it when I'm in my 40s. I'm in New York City doing shows, like solo shows. Like it happens for me. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like I've seen it, you know.
Yeah.
That timeline is gonna happen for me. Maybe I'm not there yet, but this is the stepping stones to getting to that timeline. I know it is. I have it in my gut. I know it's gonna happen. But that's what I want to do, man. I just want to be painting, be happy doing what I'm doing, you know, what I love the most, you know.
Is there anywhere to do art shows up your way or anything?
I'm sure there is, but I'm unaware of them because I'm not very proactive. I need to be more proactive. That's one of my biggest downfalls.
Well, it's all, you're not really I mean, that area out there, it's not like how it is here, is it? Like where you have Bethlehem, Easton, Allentown, even Nazareth connected.
Yeah,
like,
no, it's like,
because like I could jump and do, you know, like even food. Like I can go do food in Easton, I could go do food in Allentown, I could go do food. Like I can kind of pop, and like Nazareth is kind of like what you would consider where you are, but it's times 20.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like we're on the low end of the pole.
Yeah, it's definitely separated up there. Like, you know, you just have your little towns, and that's like, you don't have that direct connection in between.
I like that though.
You know?
I went up to the Poconos by Lake Ariel, and it was like driving to places. There was space and nature. And I was like, oh, that's how it used to be. Like before they put in the 248 Plaza.
Yeah.
But at least we have Chipotle.
Yes, of course. Had to have Chipotle. But yeah, like when you come up into Lehighton and I head 209 out to where I live, like as soon as I get out like a minute out of town, it's all farmland, you know. It's I love it personally, but
it's quiet, man.
It's very conducive to my lifestyle. So
I mean, I went up to my buddy's cabin. He's Airbnb-ing, I forget the name of it. It's like a community with a gate, but then it's like all these little cabins, and he got in there somehow, and he's got 2 spots, and I went up there, and it was just quiet, and it was like very much needed to unplug from all the noise around here. I mean, I like the basement. I like this vibe. It's definitely like wearing on my mental, not having windows and like not understanding time or weather.
Yeah, no
like,
concept.
Yeah. Like my buddies will be like, it's bright out today, go for a hike. And I'll be like, okay, I might leave. I didn't leave today. I walked outside for 2 minutes. I stuck my arms out. Harvey's like, what are you doing? I'm like, editing. You know, it's good to work in that atmosphere, but like it's hindered my creative. And I'm sure you're the same way. Like this, when I finished this, I was like, cool, let's leave. Like when I got down here, I saw the whole thing and I was like, cool, like we'll put a wall up there, we'll do this here. And then I was like, I'll put a bar over there and, you know, I'll have this over here. And then my buddy came in and I bought all these little lamps and we lit it up correctly. And when you turn all the lights off, these lamps light everything up. You put music on, you get high, have a drink at the bar. Yeah, it's awesome. And then I can, you know, I can work down here. I can create down here. But once it was finished, I'm cool. I need like I create different than most people. So, and I don't say that in like an obnoxious way. I just feel like I can't actually be creative in an artistic fashion. So I have to do it through like design and different things. So like, to me, this was my palette. So it's done. I don't want to repaint it and move different shit around and put the couch over here. Like that's stupid.
Done deal.
Yeah. So with the new spot, it's like I'm gonna have three spaces to work on, plus the cafe, plus the basement spot I was telling you about with the speakeasy. So like, you know, it's gonna probably be 5 to 10 years till probably 10 years. I would be able to realistically be on that hamster wheel and not be tired of it. But that's me knowing how many times I've just been like, whoop, no. Like I need a long-term grind. I need a long, but I've also learned enough to set that up in a fashion that I also make money. I also get social media out of it. I also can help as many people as I can possible. Like it's going to be a really cool asset to do that. But like, I didn't just come up with that. I'm 42. I started this at 28. Like, that's a long fucking time to shovel shit in order to get here. But that's what I try and tell everybody. Like, it depends on how much you like shoveling shit.
And that's what I'm saying, man. Like, when I had that vision about being in my 40s, I feel like that's where I'm at now. Like, and I feel like I'm headed in a good direction. You know, like I said, this past year alone, most paintings I've ever sold. And I think I'm really... When you
do your paintings that you're selling, is it like, are they big pieces, little pieces, different sizes?
Big, man.
Yeah.
I love to be on that scale.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't fully accomplish.
How big is it compared to that whole thing that you had printed out? Because that's larger than...
That's a 60 by 60.
That's not what you're working on at home, is it?
Sometimes, yes.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'll take two.
So you doing so, I mean, if I had you come in up at the new studio and you could blast out a wall, that's what you're used to doing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like I have this one piece, man. It's like, it's James
my wheels
Dean.
are turning.
It's Marilyn Monroe, and I got like their alter egos in the middle of it, man. And it's fucking probably like 6 foot wide, 4 foot tall.
Now, where do you put those at?
That's up in that restaurant, man.
I have to go up there and check it out.
Yeah,
how's the food
there? It's a sushi place, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's great.
That's actually a good vibe to have your art in there, too.
Yeah, man, that was the vision I had when I saw that place opening up.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, you got to reach out to these guys because everyone's going to come there.
Steel stacks with the Godzilla shit, dude, that's awesome. That's a T-shirt that you would sell, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat.
Yes. Yeah.
That's definitely dope. I definitely want to come out that way, and I want to check all the art out live, and then also eat the food up there too.
It's excellent.
How far is that from here? Like 45 minutes?
40 minutes, 45
That's
at the most.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I drove 4 hours for hot dogs.
I would too. I love hot dogs, man.
I went to, it was not 4, it was probably 2.5, 3 hours. It was Walter's Hot Dogs. They're one of the best hot dogs I ever had. It was well worth the drive, especially in the summer, taking kids down there and shit. Like they have a whole outside eating area, and like it's just a really, really rad story and a really rad place to go.
Sounds cool, man.
Yeah. I didn't know you were into food.
Oh, I love food, man.
Yeah.
I love food. Like, I'm dying to go to New Haven and have pizza up there. The Abeats.
Yeah.
The Abeats.
Yeah. How
I'm
far
a
is
big
that?
pizza guy.
That's, what's your favorite pizza around here?
Around here? Oh, I don't have one, man, because I haven't found that right one yet, man.
Yeah.
Actually, the one guy you have, the Nice Slice.
Nice Slice, yeah.
I know him kind of in a weird way. I went to high school with his wife.
Yeah.
And so when I saw that popping up, I was like, man, that pizza, that looks like the pizza I would make.
Yeah.
Like, it looks
good.
excellent.
It's real good.
I got to try it.
It's crazy getting into the food stuff because Nice Slice has got his own story, and he does his own style pizza. And then I have a guy back here, Presty, that I grew up with, and I saw he was doing pizza, and I didn't know how serious he was doing it till he had me over, and it was no joke pizza. And then, of course, Local Stone fucks with the show, and I do a bunch of pop-ups with him. He's got really good pizza. But then, like, the more I started meeting these people and their stories, and like, I don't like to rate any of their pizzas. Everyone's different. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, everyone's got awesome pizza. Well, where do you get good pizza if you don't get it around here?
There's a place up off 903. It's called Trattoria's.
Yeah.
And they have like one of the only brick oven pizzas up that way. And I think it may even be coal-fired. Because that bottom underlayer, man, is just...
How do you get it? Plain or...?
Plain.
Yeah.
Plain. Yeah. Gotta be plain, man.
That's the best
pizza.
I started just getting plain. On Sundays, I don't do shit.
Yeah.
That's like my shutdown day. I barely talk to people.
It's mine too.
I just sleep or I get into my Netflix, and when I binge something, like I'm good.
All in.
Like right now, I'm watching. I don't know if you ever like The Wire.
Yes.
So now there's a show on Netflix called Top Boy, and it's basically like The Wire, but it's like these Jamaicans in London, and it's fucking awesome. And
sounds very interesting. I
yeah,
think
so
that's
like
right
for
up my alley, it sounds like.
for 2 days, I've just been like. Yeah,
Top Boy.
What else did Bruv? But I'm definitely gonna be picking lingo up. But and I started texting my friends that I know like The Wire. I'm like, yo, because it's the way they layer the characters. It's the way it's kind of got like a yellow film over it. Like it's
that's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. But yeah, I order pizza, and there's like 5 places that'll come here, and they're all not really that good. Because it's Sunday, so most of them aren't open, and then the ones that are. It's whatever, but I started ordering them plain and like judging them, and it's all middle of the road pizza because the ones I like are probably closed. But once I started getting into plain, I started really only liking plain. Like I like my other pizzas, but like to tell whether or not it's like a good slice, I go by the plain.
Yeah, I used to be a toppings whore, man. Like you know everything.
Meat lover.
Yeah, dude. But it takes away
even
from
pepperoni because then you like. I get half plain, half pepperoni. And then the one place down here, Tony's in Tatamy, who's actually moving, and I'm pumped for that because they're going to have like a liquor license and a bar inside the place. But I could tell their pepperoni's way better than, like, you start seeing who's using cheap ingredients when you start doing that.
Right.
And then like
you do.
Like so one pie I'll get and it'll be all grease, and then when you get a Tony's it's less because they're buying a better pepperoni and like no, that's cool. What other foods you get into?
You
hot
name
dogs?
It.
You
Yeah,
like
man,
hot
I fucking
dogs?
love hot dogs.
Where do you
man.
eat? Because you work in Allentown. Where do you eat in Allentown?
So not Allentown, but Hellertown. There's a joint called Vassie's.
Yeah.
412. They got some of the best hot dogs, I think.
Well, now that you're in Hellertown, because I go to Hellertown quite a bit, Sailors.
We're all over the place. So we go Potsy's, we go wherever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Potsy's I like. Potsy's Nazareth I like out of all of them because that's where the first time I had a Potsy's hot dog. Hellertown, I'm going to go there Fridays. The Drip, they're supposed to have, I guess they're kind of new.
Yeah.
They're supposed to have like a really gangster fried chicken sandwich, and then their burger's supposed to be good. Then there's the Crossroads Hotel.
Yes, Crossroads.
Their hot
Infamous,
dogs,
man.
no joke. Like that, and their pizza's not.
Yes.
People will be like, "That's fucking shitty pizza," and I'm like, "Dude, it's its own lane. It's just, it's
bar
really
pizza,
good
man.
bar. It's good bar pie. But I could eat a whole bar pie. Like that's
too.
where I'm like, cool, bar pie. I'll eat a whole bar pie. Where else do you eat around here? I just want to talk food.
Man, you name it, man. I'll eat it. Like everything, man. Like everywhere.
Yeah, because you guys are constantly probably stopping for lunch and shit like that.
Yeah,
yeah,
of course.
You get into Easton a lot?
Yeah, oh my God. I think Easton has some of the best restaurants right now.
I think they do have the best restaurants right now. The public market's got Sailors, it's got Modern Crumb, it's got
they have such a good variety of shit down there right now. It's not even funny.
And then
like,
you
good
got
shit.
Chow's, the sandwich shop there. I still got to get them on. They have a legit sandwich there.
Like Third
Two
and
Rivers,
Ferry.
Third and Ferry is ridiculous. I got to follow up with them because I want to have them on. Stokes coming on tomorrow. They got
cool, man.
You should try them
That's
for
the pizza place, right? Yeah, the Coal-Fire.
Yeah. That's really good. They're definitely from the city. The guy, I'm excited to interview them tomorrow. The manager's coming on is really fucking cool. And then the manager or the chef Mike was on Chopped and won.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So like they don't fuck around with their wings and their pizza in there are no joke.
No shit.
So
I'm
if
gonna
you
have
want
to do that,
pizza,
man.
try that. Especially if or come down Night Slice is always doing pop-ups.
Oh, you know what else I like in Easton? Two Rivers, man.
Two Rivers,
Two
yeah,
Rivers
the burgers.
Yes.
Yeah, the burgers,
Yes.
man. Do you like that peanut butter burger?
I do.
I do. So,
I do.
I worked there for like a couple months, and got to see like the underlining of like how that whole operation works. And the guy Jeremy, the chef there, is awesome, and he puts out a fantastic menu. But that peanut butter burger, I thought, and their short rib sandwich, that's no joke too.
I had that. Actually,
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll
And the
talk
duck
food.
confit and all that stuff.
Yeah,
man,
the duck
that's
fat fries.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I'm just excited to. I want to come up that way. I want to check out that restaurant and get food, and it's just something cool to highlight. I don't know who's going up.
It's
that
just
way.
such a kick-ass town, and,
Yeah.
and you know, to begin
What
with.
else is there to do there?
Oh man, they have the haunted ghost tours, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Man, they have like the underground tunnel tours. They have
Yeah.
the prison. They have so many things of like, you know, the McGuires that were up there and stuff like that.
I'll go up there for a weekend.
It's cool, man. Yeah, it's a neat town, man. There's
So
a lot
what's
to
the
do.
town?
Jim Thorpe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been to Jim Thorpe. I never had that stopped at that place. I haven't been up there in years. The last couple times I think we went up was for when the falls were still open.
Glenanoco, yeah.
Yeah, so I would go up there hiking, and then we'd go to the Irish bar over by the train station.
Molly McGuire's,
Yeah,
yep,
and
yep.
then we would go. Dude, it's been years since I actually walked up and down the street. I'll have to go up there and check it out.
Yeah, there's a bunch of good joints up
Maybe
there
I'll go
now.
paddleboarding or kayaking.
There's
or
a
some
place
shit.
called the Marion Hose Bar, old fire company that they turned into an off-the-wall type of place, man, with the greatest food ever. Then you have, there's a place called Notch 8, where they do like handmade craft drinks and stuff like that, and their food is phenomenal too. Like, you can't go wrong up there anymore. Like, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, man, the food is
Back
great.
in the day, it was solid, and it wasn't like, you know, there wasn't scenes like how it is now, but there was still like cool little coffee shops and shit.
Yeah, yep.
How far are you from Jim Thorpe?
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like out, left alone and quiet, and then if you
Yes.
have 10, that's awesome
Yes.
though. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to take up all your time. You still got to drive home. We can do this whenever you want. If you want to do an art show before I'm out of here, which will be probably June, July, you're more than welcome to fill these walls and do something
Definitely, man.
cool.
Let me know.
We're doing a comedy show down here. So I'm just trying to do shit. I've been wanting to do an art show. I've reached out to people to do art shows. Nobody really followed up on it. So if you would want to do something small and just do a couple walls and just do a kind of meet the artist thing, we can. Or if you want to go all out and fill up both walls, and
Yeah, we can do that,
I'll
man.
definitely do music.
That'd be
and,
fantastic.
I can try and pull a bartender, and then I can do pizza. Yeah, well, that's what we'll do. We'll do pizza.
Sounds good, man.
And then
Pizza.
after the show, I'll
Pizza
talk
and hot
to you.
dogs.
There's some people I can connect you with that I think you should start trying to get your art out a little bit further. But anytime you have something you want to push, or anytime you're like, yo, it's been a little bit, I want to come on, you can just come on to get content, man. You're a really good dude, and I want to hook you up with balloons. So maybe I'll try and book the three of us on a podcast, and we'll just kind of sit around and
Yeah,
just
that'd be
do
cool.
more relaxed one.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man.
I want to give you a second to kind of promote what you're doing through your, I kind of got ahead of myself, but I want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having
The
me.
story's awesome. How you create your artwork is awesome. It was just really cool to just kind of parallel, be on the same wavelength of creating, and it was just cool to share with you and hear kind of how you're doing. And I will help you out any way possible to help you reach that vision in your head of
Thank
you
you,
doing
man.
what you're doing. The door is always open to you. Do not feel like you're bothering me to reach out. I want to give you a moment to kind of plug everything where anyone can buy your art, see what you're doing, your social media, your TikTok, how to get a hold of you, how to see everything that you're doing.
So basically, at the end of the day, man, I'm just a self-taught artist, and I'm just grinding and doing my own thing within my house, the solitude of my house, really. And at this point, unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, but the best way to get a hold of me is just through social media. I haven't done an Etsy and stuff like that, and I think I need to do that soon. But Bennet Rambo Art on Instagram, Bennet Rambo Art on Facebook, and Bennet Rambo Art at Gmail. You can get a hold of me that way as well.
Cool. Thank you again. If you're a first-time listener, first-time watchers, anythingneveragainstudio.com. That has my apparel. It has the YouTube, which I want you to subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're halfway. So subscribe to the YouTube. Everything else is on Spotify, iTunes. Just search Never Again Studio. If you want to sponsor the show or anything like that, or you need help with anything with apparel, I have a new apparel company that I'm working with directly that's like 2 minutes down the road. So that's Dynamite Screen Printing with Kyle Metz. So if you need a We're going to start doing drop shipping for Never Again. So I'm going to bring back all my old t-shirts, and there's not even going to be any more hang-ups with my apparel anymore. You buy it, it's mailed to you. I don't have to buy anything anymore. And if you don't buy it, I don't lose money. So I'm excited to do that. April, we're dropping the new working class t-shirt. And then, yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you,
I appreciate you driving past the studio twice and then coming here.
This is one of the stepping stones, man. So thank you.
Yeah, anything you need, man, let me know.
Absolutely.
Never Again Radio. Get into it, brother.